Well, I say that what he is putting forward is not only unconstitutional, but runs counter to the American values that we as a nation not only uphold for ourselves, but the values that we project to the rest of the world. That our country has the First Amendment. We believe in freedom of assembly, freedom of speech, but also freedom of religion.
Discrimination is something that has unfortunately been a part of our country for as long as history has proclaimed. But it is something that we, as Americans, can fight. We have the power to rectify our country's past mistakes and prevent them from being repeated. But we believe this issue cannot truly be ameliorated without the support of the current presidential candidates and other predominant public figures.
And if we stand for anything, we have got to stand together and end all forms of racism, and I will lead that effort as President of the United States.
Although one could say our society has come a long way in accepting other cultures and religions, many people still believe the Islamic faith is one that is still frowned upon the most. In 2015, the number of organized anti-Muslim hate groups has increased by 197%. Ever since then, we have seen a myriad of hate crimes committed against the Islamic community, from racial slurs being shouted in public to murderous attempts. But one thing many nationalists of our country fail to remember is that our Constitution provides anyone in our country with certain unalienable rights, one of those rights being the freedom of religion. What do you believe could be done to relieve the pressure off of the Muslim community?
The biggest thing is ignorance. We are ignorant. We just don't know the other as well as we should. Muslims are people just like everybody else, and if they get to know us, and if they get to know all the Muslims, they would realize that we have families and we have kids and we have things that we do which are very similar to other communities who live around us. So we need to try to alleviate this idea of ignorance and get to know each other better.
How do you feel society's treatment towards Muslim immigrants is like today?
A lot of the discourse, a statement that somebody utters, become a focal point of public expressions across the globe in a matter of minutes.
I think the media would have the biggest role and the biggest impact with that. I think the media just presenting Muslims and Muslim people and personalities just as normal human beings that have all the same needs as regular people and regular Americans do, right? And I think a lot of times they'll present us as Muslims, and it's really like it should be Muslim Americans, just like any other religious people would be from other backgrounds and other ethnicities, right? It's just Americans that we're talking about, but our religion happens to be Islam.
What do you believe has caused many Americans to have negative feelings towards the Islamic community?
It's on Muslims, so I think they look at us with suspicion and with distrust, and they feel like somehow all Muslims are out to do evil or to do things that are going to cause harm to society for whatever reason. Yeah.
It is the common opinion among American journalists that the media plays a major role in the overall visage of the Islamic community. More specifically, they tend to heavily taint it. In an interview after the Paris attack of 2015 with Yasser Laoudi, a French anti-Islamophobia activist, CNN anchor John Voss asked him, "Why is it that no one within the Muslim community in France knew what these guys were up to?" To which Yasser responded, "The world's 1.6 billion Muslims should not be held responsible for the actions of a few extremists. Sir, the Muslim community has nothing to do with these guys. Nothing," he said. "We cannot justify ourselves for the actions of someone who just claims to be Muslim." There are many other examples like this interview where news outlets and other media platforms deviate towards the common play of indirectly making the entire Islamic community appear to be responsible for the horrendous acts of these individuals who use the Islamic faith to justify their terroristic actions. How do you feel being Muslim alters your identity in today's society?
I think you notice people are fine with you, but then when they realize you're Muslim or they hear your name, and in my case it's very obvious, Muhammad, they kind of do a double take at times. I've seen that.
Some people may say that they are justified in their fear of the Islamic community, but the real reason for their irrational fear is that the image of Muslims to them has been negatively influenced by stereotypes and various news and media platforms. And although these news and media platforms may be justified in reporting the terroristic events committed in the name of the Islamic faith, as mentioned before, the way they conduct their reporting delivers the information in such a way that makes the viewers believe that all members of the Islamic community were responsible for these terroristic events. But we believe, with the proper aid from the current presidential candidates running in the 2020 election and other politically active public figures, we'll be able to create a new image of the Islamic community in the United States, one that doesn't automatically entail the tragedies that occurred in the name of the Islamic faith, but perhaps the contributions that they have made towards the betterment of society.